it's a little strange. It's not often that a cruise ship is viral on the news and on the internet. 2 in the same week? And one is overwhelmingly more viral, more in the news, front page of every single news. But the other one, it's horrible. I mean, what they're doing is disgusting. No one's heard of it? Again, I don't know. It's just a little weird.
Entry denied. You have criticized the government.
Sorry, last week you purchased too much meat and now your access to your money has been denied.
You haven't let the government know about this trip and your access is denied.
You have gone over your carbon credit allowance of food this week and your access to food has been denied. A day in the life of UK school children 2035 with digital ID. You have gone over your electricity allowance this week and your access is denied. You have gone over your weekly travel limit and your access is denied.
A little bit of light trying to find my heart. Honey, when I blank out, a lifestyle dark. Honey, when I rank in a tight flow spark with a psycho drop, playing dice, go start on who are you? Better know yourself, know your soul, better know your wealth. School your wrong, get a home, don't melt it, don't you?
Then we might think.
You can always tell when someone's going to be successful or destined for greatness because they're blatantly different than everything around them without even trying. Because their energy, their frequency, and their demeanor be different. When you have the ability to stand out naturally without forcing it, you're one of them chosen ones. Because your aura is different, your mind is different, your conversation is different, your thoughts are different. So you move different. And that is the main reason why having a strong sense of identity is important, because every day this damn world is going to convince you that you're basically something that you're not. So that's why authenticity is the gateway to success. Now, from a scientific standpoint, when you're speaking of authenticity, original thinkers have the ability to alter their environment because they have a unique neurological chemistry that creates different behavior outcomes. So, with all that shit being said, the people who changed the world was never designed to fit in with it. So that's why the great majority of successful people, they look different, they think different, they move different, and they talk different. That's because they're not meant to fit in. So, you're basically one of them chosen ones. You're one of them ones if you're not meant to fit in this world.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today we have a decent sized video, so I'm not gonna hold you. Do I have anything I need to say? I don't think so. Oh, shout out to my kids for my cup. Drinking my smoothie. It's mango and strawberry. So thank y'all. I love it. I love it. I love it. They really, you know what I love? I love that they got me things that I actually like, you know, and I was like, oh, you guys remind me of myself. You know, well, really, Gabby, because, you know, Lo was just like, hey, she thought it was for her. So, but anywho, you guys, I hope you guys are having a great week. I pray that you guys have a great week had a great week last week, and I pray that you guys have a great week this week, and we're going to get to the content. So without any further ado, go get whatever you need to chill with me, and let's get to the content. So, let's go.
TikTok. So I heard 121 tankers are supposed to be headed to America to buy oil from us. Did y'all hear that? Now, my only question for you guys is this. Do y'all remember the Economist magazine front page? Do y'all remember that picture? Well, Let's talk about it. So do you guys remember when The Economist magazine had this on the front page for what's coming in 2026? Now, as you can see here, there is a birthday cake to commemorate America's 250th birthday. But guess what? You remember those tankers headed this way? Now let's zoom out of that pic. And as you can see here, that cake that represents America's 250th birthday is being attacked by what is disguised as a tanker. And as you can see here, this attack, which is disguised as a tanker, is firing on America. So what do we really have in store for 2026? Now, how many of y'all paid attention to the freedom fist in the background of that cake? And you can clearly see.
So, what I was doing while this video was playing was looking it up on Google just really quick. And so if y'all see me looking like this, I'm looking at another screen on my thing. So I really don't see how I look, which really is bothering me. But, you know. But it says, while the exact number is closer, so to 170. So, a record-breaking surge of empty oil tankers has indeed been heading to the United States Gulf Coast. This phenomenon is driven by global supply disruption. So it says on one of these news outlets, and I'm going to do some more digging, and this was in April 11, 2026. So it's April the 11th. It says a massive number of completely empty oil tankers, some of the largest anywhere in the world, are heading right now to the United States. So now I'm back to see myself. The anxiety of not being able to see myself. it's my ism. But, so what y'all think about that? But I did put the articles right here while I was reading it. And that was just a quick Google search. I want to look in depth a little bit more because this little magazine cover is wild, y'all. It's wild.
Okay, so look at this, right? We got the World Ahead 2026 by The Economist, and they have posted a whole bunch of different graphics that seem to depict things that happen later on. We have all kinds of war stuff. There's like 4 quadrants to this. Someone did a whole breakdown. But look at what happens when you do this. So here's the image, and now let's mirror the image. And what do we get? The Masonic compass. And you may be thinking, well, this is a stretch because you don't need to mirror stuff, but the mirroring represents the duality that these guys and these organizations, they do, like the as above, so below thing. So this is part of the symbolism they're hiding in plain sight. Who's really pulling the strings here? We also have AI humanoid robots. We have those things. Voting booths, as if that does anything. And there's a whole bunch of symbolism in here. There's also a ton of pharmaceuticals, and there's also, what is that, like birth control or something? And missiles. I mean, what does this tell you that they think the world ahead is going to be? Also, I will say, it does look like Trump is slipping. So I wonder what that means. Oh, and look at this. Controller connected to a brain. Is this mind control?
Got mind control over Depot. That's what I heard in my head. But number one, I was going to say, why do rocket ships look like, but never mind. Oh, I had a dirty mind for a second because every time I see rocket ships or like the missiles and stuff, it's like that goes up in the air. I'm like, it's one of those little moments, y'all. People be having them. We all have them. Never mind. Now, anyway, but the voting issues, y'all see what's going on right now. We're going to keep going.
So every year we get these Economist covers to start off the new year. And just like the year before, we must dissect it. Now to me, just to me, these always look like a warning cover. And as always, it does not look like a normal map to me. It looked like a map of pressure. So the first thing I noticed when I look, I see the 250 with the birthday cake. So I'm thinking like, this must be America's celebration year or some shit. Then I start looking what's around it. You got missiles, you got tanks, you got money signs, you got syringes, and you got satellites. Then right here, you look like you got a fist breaking out of handcuffs with the flag behind it. To me, that screams breaking free for freedom or control of freedom, if that makes sense. So essentially, people either rise up or the system tightens the rules and they call it safety. Then I start thinking, Why are there pills and syringes on this thing all over? Because y'all notice every time health gets involved, policies change quick. Not saying fake anything, I'm saying crises become leverage. Then the money sign, the dollars, the coins. This is a slow squeeze, not just one giant crash. I'm talking about rent going up, food going up, everything. And you're just told to adapt. And I know y'all see the sword right here. Then it looked like you got the market or something behind it. What could that signify? Could it signify war, conflict over money, the stock? I don't know. Then you got the controller connected to the brain. So in hindsight, you could be like, oh, they're controlling us through the game. Or what if they're saying they treat us as a game? And I know y'all see the robots right here. Could this signify that AI is finna take over? You see them, it's working. That's the next step. We all know it. You see right here, you got the ice melting. Are they saying that the world is warming up and that we're gonna see more ice melt? No. It's other little things that I just don't get yet. Like this shit, the boat. I don't know who the hell this man is. He look like a maintenance man. Is that the president of China? And who are these people right here? We already know who this is. It's Trump. And before somebody say, why are you bringing this up again? Obviously because patterns matter. And repeating it keeps people comparing notes. If it's nothing, that's cool. But if it's something, the only defense is to get people talking. But while y'all look at this cover, y'all let me know down below in the comments. What symbol sticks out to y'all the loudest?
I will say I also put it in my community post too, but you guys take a screenshot or whatever of these pictures I have right here. And I'm not going to make this too long so we can move to the next topic. But take some time and like look through this and see what has already been happening. See how this person has broken it up into actual months, and the months of the year. And these clips that I got to react to, I think one of them might have was made recently, but both of the other ones was made like in December or January before we even got to this point where we are now.
What the hell is this? No way. Wipe your feet. No. Wipe your feet. Are you giving ghosts a free ride? When you walk over their graves, the ghosts who reside there can cling to your shoes, then come off later and haunt where they are unwanted. Come on, B. Help protect this fragile boundary between the land of the living and the spirits of the... Don't accidentally introduce invasive ghosts. Come on, B. I hope you don't be walking over people's graves because that's kind of disrespectful. Now, this guy was wiping his feet. That's why when people come into your house, you're supposed to tell them to take their shoes off at the door. All right? Shh. Sir, because you never know where they came from. Please use ghost brush before leaving the cemetery. Ghosts were people too. Come on, dogs. You're right, they were people. Rest in peace to them. Now they're ghosts. This is in the city of Portland. I don't know what the hell is going on over there. I don't know if the cemetery did this themselves or somebody put this there, but something's going on over there, bro. But of course, guys, entertainment purposes only. Do you believe in ghosts? Because according to the cemetery, they believe in ghosts. And ghosts probably are real. Ghost spirits, whatever you want to call it. Let me know what you think. I'm out.
A deeper level, that can go for a lot of different things. And that's creepy, though, but interesting. But in a deeper level, yeah, I can see it. Get them spirits up off you.
Most people don't know this, but the Crazy Horse Memorial in South Dakota is expected to be completed this year after an incredible 76 years of construction. Just a short drive from Mount Rushmore, this monument is so massive it makes those famous four faces look like a group selfie. It is home to the largest mountain carving on Earth and was built to honor Crazy Horse, the legendary Lakota warrior. The sculpture shows Crazy Horse on horseback, pointing across the land of his people, like he's reminding everyone who was here first. When finished, the entire Mount Rushmore monument could fit inside this single carving. Visitors can hike up close a few times a year, or pay for a private tour to the top, proving that even history has premium upgrades. After decades of blasting, carving, and unbelievable patience, this historic project is finally reaching the finish line. If you're planning...
I won't be able to say if you're planning, but Shout out to all the people that got Indian in their family. But I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Although it's amazing, I think I would have grave anxiety standing like right next to it because I don't know what kind of fear it is, but I did finally realize what my fear is named, but I don't remember it, and I don't feel like looking it up. I might put it here. So I'm gonna put here whatever the fear is of large bodies of water and not knowing what's underneath it because that ain't my world, that's their world. That's that fear, and then the fear of standing next to stuff that's extremely too big, not like buildings and stuff. If it's like extremely, it gives me a little anxiety. I ain't gonna lie, and that's that fear right here. Let's keep going, y'all.
The evil spirit credited with the most harm, death, and destruction the entire earth, all of history has ever seen, has just now and is being invited into the most powerful providence the earth has ever known ever since the 1st century. It's time to get your house in order. In this video, we'll get into everything that's happening in Washington, D.C. right now, how it affects the entire earth, and how it directly is connected right back to one that many people call the beast. So you may have seen on the news, this is the Triumph Arch that is being put in Washington, D.C. But if you don't know, in history, these arches have always been known as a gateway between their gods and the physical realm that we live in today. So what could inspire mankind to put this arch right there in Washington, D.C. in the exact place, of course, all roads lead to Rome, which is Rome's control and its mechanism over the earth right this minute. You know, we go back to our conquest in the Middle East and we find out that there was all sorts of portals in the Middle East, Gilgamesh, all sorts of weird spiritual phenomenon happening in the Middle East, and of course, where else would it be? And it really just drives you to wonder, what's the real reason we went there? And now, all of a sudden, fast forward, we're creating this Triumph Arch with a very peculiar god on the top of it. So let's take a look at this arch, because right on it, it says, one nation under God. But who is the God that these people in DC are talking about? Look no other than right above that. We see this figure with these spines coming from its head, and it has a bright torch in its hand, almost like the light bringer. This, my friends, is no other than Apollo, Abaddon, Apollyon, Lucifer himself, and his alter egos that he have used to possess the spirits of mankind themselves to cause destruction on the people of God for years and years and years. Nero Caesar is a very strange human. Some say he came back from the dead. Some say he came back as an image to further instruct the Romans on how to destroy Jerusalem in 70 AD. One thing that we know that cannot be debated at all is Nero Caesar's name was 666. His name in Latin was 616. That's right. Those are the two separate translations for this number, this mark of this beast that John saw. How is it that both numbers align with a man? It's supposed to align with a man, right? I saw the number of a man, and his number was 666. And of course, we have this guy who caused so much harm and death upon all the Hebrews, and not just the Hebrews, in the 1st century. And as we get in this video, you're going to find out there's a lot more than just this. This is the very tip of the iceberg.
I agree. And I would like to say, you know, it's ironic. So I'm just putting my leg. I hope y'all don't see my leg, but I'm trying to get comfortable. I ain't gonna lie. But isn't the human body, which is man, made up of 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons? That is wildly interesting. Yeah.
Masons have been putting y'all together for a long time, so I want you to look at the symbol. Everybody's seen it, but nobody knows how to read it. There's 3 pieces, the compass, the square, and the letter G that sits right in the center. There's 3, and that's your first number. The compass then sits at 60 degrees, the angle of the equilateral triangle, the most stable geometric form in existence. So 6 plus 0, which is the 60, equals 6. The square is a builder's tool, a right angle, 90 degrees. 9 plus 0 is 9. So here you have 3, 6, and 9. Tesla said if you understand the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, then you'd have the key to the universe. In vortex mathematics, every number in existence reduces through a pattern. 1 doubles to 2, 2 doubles to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 7, 7 to 5, 5 goes back to 1. That loop runs forever. But 3, 6, and 9 never enter the loop. They sit outside the loop and they govern the pattern. That's why they put this inside of their symbol. What's up with the G? Everybody thinks it stands for God. In the Lodge, they call it the great architect of the universe. But the letter G is the 7th letter of the alphabet. 7 is the code that creation runs on. 7 days of the week, 7 notes in a musical scale, 7 colors in the visible spectrum of light, 7 chakras, 7 seals in Revelation. The compass marks 6 equal chords around a circle, creating a hexagon. But when you add the center point, you get 7, the hidden number, the one they don't put on the symbol because it is the symbol. Look at the background. Purple indigo. Indigo sits at the third eye, the seat of intuition, the frequency where you stop thinking and you start receiving. In Masonic tradition, purple represents the union of the Blue Lodge and the red of the Royal Ark, the merging of the earthly and the spiritual. What does the whole symbol actually say? 369 is the code. 7 is the creation frequency it unlocks, and the pattern tells you where it enters, through the crown, through the stillness, through the space where you stop performing consciousness and start channeling it. Manly P. Hall wrote that the compass represents the divine, the square represents the material, and the G is the bridge between them. The entire symbol is a map. The compass points up, spirit, the square sits below, matter, and the G is the center, which is you. The 7th note, the center point, the one who walks between worlds. They've been showing us the blueprint the whole time. 369 is not a trend, it's not a manifestation hack, it's the operating system. And someone encoded it into a symbol, hung it on the wall of every lodge on earth, and waited to see who'd actually look. So here's time for you to look. Thank you, and I love you.
I'm gonna tell you, I was looking at my sheet to see if I was gonna switch one number for the other number, looking at my timing in between my segments. So that's why when I be looking over, I be looking at my notes and stuff. Cause I have it sitting in like a little pocket right here, so I don't have too much around me. But side note, besides that, that was very interesting. And wow. But side note, I'm about to challenge myself by saying it out loud. I'm about to put myself back on a diet because I've been pigging, y'all. So I think I was like emotional eating. So like when I be going through stuff psychologically and unconsciously, I'll be like emotionally eating, like snacking and stuff. And I could see it and I could feel it. And I don't like. So no more snacks in this house like that. My kids gonna be like, "That's on you." I can hear Gab now. That's on you. Let's keep going, y'all. But yeah, I can feel it.
Woohoo! We did it! We did it! Oh yeah, yeah, yeah! No eating here tonight! Woo! Eating here tonight!
No, eating here tonight.
Dory!
You're on a diet.
Dory!
The United States once built an entire secret city inside a mountain to prepare for the end of the world. Inside this mountain is a secret base designed to survive a nuclear explosion. Hidden deep beneath a mountain in Colorado, there's a place considered one of the safest military bases on Earth. It's called the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, an ultra-secret United States military command center built during the Cold War. The wild part is that the entire base was built deep inside the Rocky Mountains to withstand nuclear attacks. Inside are massive tunnels and 15 buildings mounted on giant, shock-absorbing springs designed to handle vibrations from nuclear blasts or earthquakes. The steel blast doors protecting the facility weigh around 25 tons each. People say that even if a massive nuclear explosion happened outside, the base could still continue operating normally. Its steel and granite walls also help shield critical systems from powerful electromagnetic pulses. Many people call this America's doomsday fortress. And the creepiest part is, most of what's actually inside this mountain has never been fully revealed to the public.
What I'll say is, number one, why are they building it? Number one. Number two, Go watch Paradise. I really feel like that's a connection to all these bunkers that they have around here. Paradise on Hulu. No promo, just for real. Go check it out.
They found him. People are saying that they found Michael Jackson on a bus in the Middle East. Something's going on here, guys, and if you ask me, it's AI. Who the hell is this? Who is this guy right here? Because people are saying that he was spotted in the Middle East on a bus. Now, he looks upset, guys. People are saying that he looks upset that they spotted him. Shut up! This is getting wild, guys. I mean, it looks like him, but an older version, right? This is Michael when he was younger. Something's going on here, bro. Look at this. Look at this. Now look at this. Shut up! Could it be? Could it be? Or is it AI? This is what people are saying. Like I'm saying, guys, I'm not saying that they found him anywhere. I think this is AI, but something's going on with this, bro. Ever since this AI stuff came out, people have been playing around, bro. Straight up and down. The people that we thought left, people are trying to make it seem like they didn't leave. They left, bro. They gone. Rest in peace to Michael. I just made my guys entertainment purposes only. You believe this crap? Rest in peace, Michael Jackson. Leave him alone. This is not him, and I don't care who put this video together. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. This does look like the older version of him, and he looks upset. I don't know. Let me know. I'm out.
That's wild. And you can do all kind of stuff with phones. Look like you about to punch the shit out of somebody. Like, nigga, out my face, bro. Like, why is you here? Why is you in my face? Like, why? Why is you in my face? Back up.
Oh, nah. Why does it seem like every month there's a new terrifying virus headline? Because now officials are warning about a possible spread of Ebola. Says 65 people in Africa has got the virus and died. If y'all remember anything about the last Ebola outbreak, you can see why people freaking out about this. So now you had norovirus, hantavirus, now Ebola outbreak. This Ebola virus has one of the scariest reputations on this earth. Like, once people hear the word Ebola, they start panicking. You got health officials trying to monitor this situation very closely so they can stop the spread, because y'all already know this shit can get crazy. We are battling three things at one time. All I know is just stop all flights from coming from over there where this is located to America immediately. Experts are saying Ebola spread through direct contact through bodily fluids, not like COVID. You already know social media don't care about the details. They see Ebola, 65 dead, and a possible spread. They immediately jump to, oh shit, this is about to be another pandemic. So do y'all think people is overreacting over this headline, or do y'all think people should be worried a little bit?
What y'all think?
If you got vaccinated, you need to watch this.
First of all, you give them phones. Then you give them smartphones. Then you go to technology on the body. Next is inside the body. The other side of it is what they call the cloud. Through the medium of this cloud, they will connect to this self-replicating nanotechnology in the body. It will control what you think. Artificial intelligence becomes the human mind. That's the goal. So, is it such a stretch to think that an anti-human agenda could be perpetrated ultimately by a non-human race, a non-human force operating outside of human visual?
He said the nanotechnology is self-replicating, which means once it goes inside your body, it creates its own self. It keeps duplicating itself and it's going to your brain. This was all a part of the plan, people. They're going to control your mind, and they probably already are through satellites. It's technology. They always tell us through movies what's going to happen. Check this out. Everybody that got this is connected to a server, a cloud, and everybody is going to be controlled mentally. And this is why they forced everybody to get it. They threatened your job. They told you that you were going to lose this. You people need to be detoxed. And if you didn't get it, make sure you're not sleeping with people who got vaccinated, because you're going to take on their blood and that nanotechnology that's in their bloodstream. Holy fuck.
If that be the case, the last part of that, I think that everybody will have it because since they was given the jab till now, how many people done been having all kind of escapades and all kind of wild nights? Wild nights. Even though she said wild thoughts, but y'all get it. I will say this, and I hope my video don't get deemed. For real. I did the first dose, and 2 weeks later, my body started doing something where like my right side went numb. That's when I had ended up getting diagnosed with MS. And there's a link. They don't want to say anything. But I'll leave that there. But what I will do is go jump to my next point because talking like that, they will really like knock your video like for real. But you guys can read between what I'm saying and go from there. Now let's look back at this whole entire wheel, and y'all see this like vaccination look like little needle, and where we at right now. Let's keep going, y'all. I literally thought this video wasn't gonna be long, but as I'm filming it, I can already see it's gonna be a little long.
All right, I see you, Michael. So what if I told you the story of Michael Jackson and the story of Yeshua, the Christ, are running the exact same energetic blueprint? This is going to piss some people off and make them really uncomfortable, but I want you to look at the historical and energetic data. When Yeshua hits his stride, when his ministry blew up, he wasn't just a quiet carpenter. He was a radical revolutionary, drawing massive crowds. He carried a frequency that terrified the establishment. And at his peak, what was his core message? Let the little children come to me, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these. He knew that children hold the uncorrupted frequency of source. Now, let's look at Michael. At the height of his fame, he held the intention of the entire globe. He wasn't just making pop music. He was broadcasting a frequency of pure unity, and he built his entire existence around protecting that same innocence. He knew that the children were the key to this frequency. Now look at the hidden story. The institutions hid the true story of Christ by erasing the divine feminine. They minimized Mary Magdalene and the women around Yeshua to hide the balanced frequency of the biological Merkaba. Michael naturally embodied that same balanced frequency. His connection to the women in his life, his gentleness, his almost androgynous iteration of the divine masculine and feminine, that perfect balance completely short circuits a matrix built on rigid Nephilim-based dominance. So, what does the matrix do when a vessel becomes too powerful? They don't just assassinate you, they crucify you. Crucifixion is a public ritual. It's designed to humiliate. It's designed to make the masses turn on you. The political and religious institutions did it to Yeshua. The media and the elite bloodlines did it to Michael. And they attacked Michael precisely where his frequency was the purest, his connection to the innocents. They took the greatest light and they inverted the narrative. But here's the Hermetic law. The Matrix always forgets. You cannot kill a frequency. The Romans destroyed Yeshua's physical body, but the Christ frequency resurrected and seeded the entire globe. The system took out Michael Jackson's physical vessel, but his code didn't die. It went dormant, and now it's resurrecting. The bloodline is picking up the mantle. The frequency is returning louder than ever. They can't crucify the vessel because the code is immortal. What frequency are you holding today? Thank you, and I love you.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really have anything to say after that. I think he's explained that and conveyed that extremely well. So let's go to the next one.
The Disney cruise ship child trafficking ring is so much deeper than you think. If you haven't heard, a Disney cruise ship was raided in a massive child exploitation sting and 10 Disney employees were arrested. But it is so much deeper than that. Let's start in 2022. Disney employees and former judge among 108 arrested in human trafficking sting. That must be a coincidence though, right? 2021, parents sue Disney Cruise Line for $20 million over alleged essay of 3-year-old daughter. 2019, Disney cruise worker charged with 13-year-old girl. 2014, Disney Cruise Line fails to promptly report essay of 11-year-old girl. This has happened so many times that when the news reports arrests, they just say another Disney Cruise Line worker arrested. But there's no way that the same company with ties to Epstein could possibly be running some kind of child trafficking ring, right? That has to just be a crazy coincidence, right? I don't know. I could be wrong, but unfortunately, I don't think I am.
I don't think she is either. And the unfortunate part about it is that Disney has been like rooted into our society. And I still watch Disney movies. My daughter actually loves like Princess and the Frog, like for real. And I think she likes singing too. She likes all that, like the singing and all that type of stuff. The small one. The big one, she never was like that. She likes shows that's actually like the actual people. She's like, I don't want to watch no cartoon. I'm like, so, but I was a kid that used to like, I had all the Disney movies on VHS, every last one of them. And so it's unfortunate because you're reared up in something that could be very magical, and it is. It still has its good purposes, but the overshadowing of the bad is just so draining, like for real.
It is.
Welcome to the year 2055, where the AI server farms are draining water. Water is no longer our right. It's a product. You don't fetch water, you scam for it. Drinking water became more expensive because of the unavailability. Hidden near these dry rivers stand monstrous AI server farms, pulling millions of liters daily. In the slums, people burn plastic waste to boil drain water just to survive. A smart water ATM scans your face to decide if you deserve water today. If access denied, try again tomorrow.
It's actually called Day Zero. Now, Day Zero is a moment when the water supply gets so low that governments have to shut off access to regular tap water. There's a danger that nobody's talking about, but it's going to hit harder than anything this decade. The world could run out of water. Remember, we're in the biggest tech transformation in history, and tech needs water. AI data centers need water. Now, this is a serious threat, but it could be a huge opportunity. There's a reason why people like Bill Gates, Richard Branson, and other billionaires are investing in water. Now, here's 5 ways to invest in water. You have water ETFs, PHOFIW, both give you exposure to the entire ecosystem. Number 2, you got water utilities, AWK, WTRG, both predictable, essential demand. Then you have infrastructure, filtration, desalination, pipelines. These are the pick and shovels of the water ecosystem. You have water tech, companies that are solving purification and recycling. Now, by the time everybody figures this out, it's going to be too late. Follow me for more on the future of money, resources, and how to position your investment.
Dropping gems, and I'm going to look into that. But for real though, like, wow, water is very important.
I want to thank the guys that are not my friends anymore. I'm glad that you blew your cover for me to recognize that you wasn't any good to my family or me, and I appreciate y'all for that. So if I make any more new friends, I know the signs. Thank you.
I like him.
We have news from the White House. They tweeted this, iced out, and it's a picture of Drake's album cover for Iceman, but he's holding a MAGA chain. I guess we have some Drake fans in the White House. The OVO administration. Imagine living long enough to watch Young Money grow into old MAGA. Nicki Minaj recently came out as a Republican. She had no choice. Her house kept getting swatted. She reached out to Governor Gavin Newsom. He wouldn't do anything. So, you know, Trump was the next best. The Democrats couldn't help, so the Republicans stepped in. Nicki Minaj, you are setting a dangerous precedent. I live in New York, and this is our governor, Kathy Hochul. Now, Miss Hochul, I'm going to email you a list of demands, and if you can't meet them, I may have to follow Nicki Minaj's lead. I don't even think they can vote. I know he can't vote. She might be able to, but definitely not you.
Yo, hold on real quick. Yo, he was trying so hard to be serious, but he really couldn't. This is crazy.
What does Drake's new album Iceman, global warming, and the fact that your iPhone does not have any holidays past 2030 have to do with the end times? Now, if there's one thing that's very clear about Drake and his fans, they not like us. And whether you've seen it on Adventure Time as a kid or as an adult saw it through entertainment on Game of Thrones, you've been exposed to the idea of an ice wall. And with global warming getting way worse than it has been, where areas that normally got hit by things are getting hit even harder. And of course, us seeing global warming peak last year with all the flooding all over the United States, everyone is wondering, when is all of this going to stop? But us in our Bibles know it will not get better. It will continue to get worse. Now on to my final point. 2030 and beyond not having any holidays at all. You see, holidays like Easter or Easter, like you like to call it, or Christmas and Mother's Days, those days were sent to worship these guys. And you see, these watchers have been bound here on earth for mixing in with humans, creating abominations like Goliath and all kinds of Nephilim that we are taught about within the Bible. I bring this up because the end times are just like the days of Noah, and these beasts will be released onto the earth. But for the unbelievers, when that event happens, you have movies like The Watchers that are literally named after the Watchers. Movies like this that literally mock the four horsemen that the Bible talks about. Movies like this would make you believe that when the Watchers come, they're supposed to be these scary, evil, dreadful looking beasts. But the lies about who these Watchers are have been deeply embedded in every culture, even in the non-religious. So when they come back, they're not coming back to terrify you and scare you and rip your heads off and throw them out in the street. No, no, no. They're coming back to swoon you so that they can build up their army. So just like in the days of Noah, this becomes common again. Conviction over comfort. Follow me if you're into that. Shalom.
I wanted to put a different perspective, because there's all kind of different ways to think about things. I don't know, but I do know. I don't know how I feel about seeing some stuff I ain't seen. I told y'all that before. As much as I be knowing, I still don't know if I'm ready for all that. But I will say, after 2029, they don't have any more holidays on the map. On the calendar from 2030 and up. Hence my exhibit right here. I don't know why.
You see, they giving a child to Moloch, who was the son of Enlil, right? So everything is based on the Canaanite bloodline, giving a sacrifice to the Draconians, who are the black nobility, right? So now when you look at this, look at this chart, you have the Khazarians, right, which is connected to the Ukrainians. They are basically the ones that's galvanizing everything. So you see Switzerland, which is the hub of the black nobility. That's where they're stationed at. So this all interconnected to the Inquisition. It's connected to the Jesuit Society. It's all connected to Freemasonry. It's all connected to the Bavarian Illuminati and the Roman Empire, because the Roman Empire, that's where the Byzantine Empire got their information from when they went over to Ukraine, right? Which is basically the head of the snake, like that guy was saying, right? So like I said, this is all interconnected. When you look at the bottom right here, it says Baal, Moloch, Set, Zeus, and Jupiter, who is basically the personification of Satan, which is El, Ra, Anton, or Adam, which is the false god, right? He's the false illumination. So, like when you look at this chart right here, it shows you how everybody is interconnected with the Canaanite bloodline, who is being controlled by Draconians, right? Because at the top right here, you see the Canaanites, who is the tribe of Dan, who came from the Hyksos, which is basically who infiltrated Kemet and turned it into Egypt, right? And then you have the kings of Babylon. So everywhere they go, just like Ron Hayes said, everywhere they go, they colonize and they transmutate locations, right? To where they can basically hide the hand, because the hidden hand is the black hand and the black hand is the black nobility, right? So like I said, they infiltrated every sector. They infiltrated the church, the Vatican, and they use religious systems to take you away from your birthright. So like I said, now we're speaking on the Vatican, right? Since we're speaking on the Vatican, that's also connected. Like I said, it's all connected to trafficking. So now when you look at like I said, everything is based on the triad, the Bermuda Triangle, the triangular shape, right? So now when you look at the Pope's garments is also acclimated to the sigil of all the things that they tell you about. It's like, symbolism is going to be their downfall. Symbolism is going to be their downfall. Because if you understand the esoteric symbolism, you can pretty much find the esoteric trail of who's who and what's what. So this is a symbol for boy lover, right? So this is why.
Here are those symbols again, and I'll leave it there.
So a lot of people thought that Cat Williams was joking around at Kevin Hart's roast, but he really wasn't. There's a few things that he pointed out and I'm just like, whoa, like he was really exposing things the whole entire time he was speaking. Like earlier on when he said that he was the only person with a soul that was there, I mean, that's pretty alarming. He also went on to say something really strange. He was like, Kevin Hart is really a 6'3" white man, which I thought was really odd because we do know these fallen angels, these demons, they can kind of like shapeshift and become something different. That's why they all live so long and they become a different being or a different person. So I thought that was really odd. Then he went on to say that Kevin Hart is owned by Netflix and the owner of Netflix has his hand up his you-know-what, controlling every single thing that Kevin does. Then he went on to say that Kevin is allergic to the word no and he'll say yes to every literal thing, which I thought was also really alarming. Then the last exposure he said was all the movies that Kevin Hart was in, Cat Williams was offered those exact roles, but he declined them because he did not want to be a COON, a coon, and so he did not want to sell out. But he said Kevin Hart did sell out. What do you guys think about this? Because it seems like Cat Williams was speaking truth, and they say he might tell a joke, but he never will tell a lie.
I didn't watch the Kevin Hart roast, and I don't really plan to. I'm not interested in it. But I did see some clips of it, and I still feel like, as much as Cat Williams do open up the truth bag, I still feel like he's compromised. And I like Cat Williams. Between him and Dave Chappelle, like, Dave Chappelle's my favorite comedian, but, it's neither here nor there. But, I do feel like he compromised. I do feel like he's in the system, and he plays along to get along. If you know what I mean. I'm not saying that he don't be having beef, but you know what I mean.
Talking about ISIS is on the land. And ISIS is really a nomenclature title for the word Jesus, because Jesus is really ISIS. A lot of people don't know that. That's when you get into the esoterics of biblical context. So ISIS is actually the divine feminine energy that's connected to the motherboard of America. So another reason why, it's also a play on words, because you're looking at the freezing of a certain culture, and then everything is an algorithm. Just like Drake, he's coming out with an album called Iceman.
Oh no,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you got the I think Donald Trump, he just froze the accounts for the Bank of America. So everything is an algorithm. It's a play on words. So that's why a lot of people don't understand like what's going on, because most of the stuff that they put on TV is a form of entertainment, but they also telling you something. Just like when you look at the Super Bowl, when you look at the color spectrum of it, that is the emergency broadcast system color spectrum.
Bro.
So they telling you something is going to happen in real time.
Wow.
Just like when you look at the Eagles and the Patriots, because the Eagles is actually the personification of those who have the ability to see, to where you become a merchant of man, to where you divorce yourself from the artificial system. So this is why, maritime law in real time is gaining jurisdiction through the Uniform Commercial Code, to where you're no longer stuck in a digital system. So this is where you divorce yourself. This is where you tap back into the gold and the silver.
Yes, sir.
So for those who's not doing that work, you're going to be under a universal based income system. This is why they gentrifying the great majority of so-called, black, cities, because they want to build a synthetic grid over it, a smart city grid. And a smart city grid in itself is why, Elon Musk, he's pushing Neuralink, because Neuralink in itself is trying to mimic the energy of the neuromelanin, which is the brain and central nervous system melanin, to where they steal your thoughts and they upload it on a neuromorphic cyber cloud. So that's what the cloud is. It's a form of it's like a cybernetic sorcery. That's what they want to do. They want to steal your thoughts. That's why Elon Musk, he said verbatim, he said about 2040, it's going to be more robots than humans. They don't want you to think for yourself. That's why I keep telling people, think for yourself while it's still legal to. Because authentic thoughts is what makes you the personification of God, because God in itself is the highest extension of the mind, which uses elements and matter to express itself. So if once you're able to express yourself, that's when you divorce yourself from their system. They don't want you to have authentic energy. That's what they're afraid of, because authentic energy is the Christ energy.
An insane update about the man that was unfortunately struck and killed by the Frontier Airlines plane at Denver International Airport. And needless to say, you never know what somebody is going through. His name was Michael Mott. He was 41 years old. And even though a suicide note had not been recovered, Matt had multiple previous problems with the law. Spokesperson for the department later told the Post that Mott was involved in a reported assault in Denver back in February of 2025, but no arrests were made after the victim declined to press charges. Additionally,
I don't know what he was about to say because the clip had cut short. But what I will say, Denver Airport, we've talked about this, Denver Airport, wasn't an actual self, or was he there due to some type of ritual? That's why I was making that face like, mix my spice and let's go.
Michael Mott, 41, has been identified as the individual who was unalived on the Denver runway by the Frontier Airlines plane. Denver International Airport. Officials identify man killed by plane on runway, so it was an intentional unaliving and there was no note. And the individual is Michael Mott. He is 41 from Cortez, Colorado. He at the time lived in Aurora, Colorado. And this is another picture of him here. He did have a long criminal record. You guys can read this here too as well. And there's this. And then we have this one as well. So some of the more notable charges on here are an assault. And there is an aggravated assault on here too with a pew-pew. There's also an attempted unaliving charge on here. And there's a homicide on here. There's another assault charge, and there's a few more assault charges. So he has a lengthy rap sheet. The Denver medical examiner Sterling McLaurin said 41-year-old Michael Mott is the man who was consumed by the jet engine of a Frontier Airlines plane late Friday night as he walked on the runway. McLaurin's office determined the man's cause of death was multiple blunt force injuries and the manner of death was unaliving. Intentional unaliving. However, there was no note found near the scene, so investigators are still trying to piece together what led up to this shocking method. We told you about the horrific incident. A plane plowed Mott as he was seen strolling along the runway during takeoff. Air traffic personnel immediately confirmed there were human remains on the runway and swiftly began evacuating the plane. Investigators are saying that Mott jumped an 8-foot-tall fence to gain access to the runway. At the same time he scaled the fence, the airport's motion sensors detected a herd of deer just near where he was, about 2 miles from the airport's terminal, according to authorities. An unaliving note has also not been recovered, according to Denver Police Department Chief Ron Thomas. However, Mott had multiple previous issues with the law. As I said in the earlier part of the video, he had multiple run-ins with the law. You guys can read down that rap sheet. A spokesperson for the department later told the Post that Mott was involved in a reported assault back in February 2025, but no arrests were made after the victim declined to press charges. So it seems like to me that he had a lot going on, especially with the multiple run-ins with the law. I'm not condoning what he did. I want to make that very clear on here. But now having the context of everything, it does make sense. And I'm not saying you should ever do that. I'm not saying that. But given the context of reading through all those different charges, he had a lot of issues going on. He had a lot of issues with the law and clearly had some underlying mental health issues. Now, I'm not saying what he did was okay, but it does paint a bigger picture for me. Obviously, it's very wrong what he did, and you should never do that. With the given context of that, it now gives me the entire story. So it seems like he was struggling mentally, struggling with the law, and that's why he did what he did. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, so don't put words in my mouth. But now it paints a whole picture for me. This obviously is horrific. What do you guys think? Let me know below in the comments.
Not to say that he's a perfect candidate for rituals, for what they do, but think about it. a person is not really going to question why the hell did that happen in the beginning, how he was able to get there with all the security, how big that airport is. Where did he come from? Y'all didn't see him in nowhere, and it's just random. Now, what I said when I was thinking about the fact that was that jet, that was his, that's some deep for real. But I just really feel like there's more to that story that we may not uncover just from news alone.
Nah, this one right here got the internet freaking the fuck out right now. Because the Euphrates River, one of the most famous rivers in human history, is drying up fast. This ain't just any river, y'all. This the same river that's tied to ancient civilizations. We talking biblical stories, prophecy. Now you got scientists blaming things like a drought or climate change or water overuse. But you got people online already like, nah, we ain't trying to hear that. It's deeper than that. Because in the book of Revelations, there's literally a verse talking about the Euphrates River drying up. And when that happens, that brings the end of times, the end of time events. And with that and all the other stuff going on, they said you can literally see satellite images of this river shrinking, the water going bye-bye. Now, me personally, I'm not saying this is the end of the world or nothing. What I am saying is, it's crazy seeing ancient biblical locations making major headlines again. Like I said, with everything that's going on, make it even crazier. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this down below in the comments.
Here is a picture of how the Euphrates used to look, and here's a picture of how it looks today. So, and then here is the Bible verse, in which it talks about the Euphrates River drying up in the end times. And on that note, I'm going to leave it there. So, everybody, we've reached the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of information. We covered a lot of things. Very informative. And I just had got a brain fart. I don't like that. Well, anywho, I will see, since my brain done went to the left and I don't remember what the heck I was going to say, I'm going to let y'all go. So I will see you guys next week. Remember, I'm working towards making sure Monday nights are our days that I drop my video, and then keeping that going, you guys. But I will see you guys on the next one. And until I see you guys again, you guys have a great, great week and weekend, and enjoy your life. You only have one life. I love you guys very, very much. So I'll see you guys on the next one. But until I see you guys again, bye. Mwah. Mwah. Mwah.